Hello guys, happy Monday. Welcome back to another coaching call. Today we're going to be looking into the power of risk acceptance. Okay, I think this is going to be so useful for all of us, just in terms of the longevity of this journey and just making sure that we've got a healthy attachment to accepting our stop losses. So I'm going to go straight in and just discuss with you the definition behind acceptance in a generic term. And basically, all it means is recognizing a situation and not having a judgment to it, not allowing you to try and change it, but you're just letting that situation be. So when it comes to trading, you placing a stop loss with a certain amount of loss at that moment when you're accepting, it's you accepting what it is and that you're not going to try and change it because you have accepted that that is the possibility and that it's not going to affect you, which is where we want to get to. We want to be at that place where the stop loss is not going to affect us in a negative way and that it doesn't allow to start seeping into how we think about us personally. And really accepting things in life, whether it's relationships, whether it's dealing with individuals or dealing with a challenge in that moment, it's going to allow you to communicate a lot better and just deal with things in a more productive manner. It's so good to have acceptance and not trying to judge or change the outcome, because you're going to allow yourself to reduce anxiety levels, reduce stress levels, and just bring you to like a more calmer place of your life. So I think really here, when we're dealing with our stop loss, we really need to infuse that definition into us and accept what it means before we accept a trade for how it might turn out, whether it's a good or a negative outcome. Okay, so accepting your risk. Why is this so powerful when it comes to trading? So if you think about your trades, what you want not only from the profit, you want to feel a certain way with that, because the more profit that you get into, the more trades that you do that are consistent, the more you're going to feel empowered by your tasks, by your executions, and by how you think and approach this lifestyle, this trading. And you're not going to allow it to affect you in a way that will cause limitations and that will cause you to start doing a lot more losses. So that's where we don't want to get to. So it's super powerful to accept, so you're not having emotional turbulence, and that you can learn how to really manage those emotions when it comes down to that point if that trade doesn't go in the way that you expected. Okay, so very, very powerful to really own, and it will give you control of the trade itself. So you're not allowing the market to affect you. You're not allowing the market to control what you have done. But even if it goes against your analysis, against how you decided to execute that trade, you're still in control. You're still in a healthy manner in how you approach and how you feel about it. And over time, that power will just initiate kind of who you are as a trader and what that's going to do for your lifestyle on a consistent basis. Okay, so let's say three things here that we should be embracing and really seeing as a positive when it comes to our SL. So number one, stop loss. What does that mean? It means, it's in the saying itself, stop and loss, right? So stop loss, it's stopping your loss. Your stop loss is there to protect you, and it's actually supporting you. We place a stop loss for it to protect your capital, your overall capital, your profits that you've made in recent times. And it's there to protect you and your emotions and how you carried out that trade. It's only there to protect you. So it's stopping your loss from getting any further. So if you really think about that SL and really bring the stop into the loss rather than just the loss itself overall, The name suggests what it's doing for you, and it's a positive thing. It's a healthy thing. If you are a long-term trader and you're more confident with placing trades and kind of not really watching the charts, and you go off and do certain things, if you don't have that stop loss in place, if you've decided that you're not going to place it, or that you just didn't place it at the time of the trade, and you go off and completely forget about it, you are more than likely going to draw yourself into more of a negative in your capital, and also potentially blow your account. So it's so important that you've got that stop loss there, okay, that it's there to support you. And really remember that you're there placing it to guide you and to help you along your trade, nothing else. So number 2, our stop loss is there to give space for the trade to move and fluctuate. So as you've known, whilst we're doing our charts, you'll notice that the trade may eventually go into a bit of a loss and profit, back into loss, back into profit. So we're giving it enough room in order for it to fluctuate in those moments, because we really don't know what it's going to do. No matter how much we analyze and predict what that trade might do in the next hour, we don't know what it will do second by second. And with our acceptance that that trade may go in one way or the other direction, we can allow with space to give that fluctuation, so then it would eventually hopefully lead into that profit. So remember, when you're watching your trade, and if it's in a loss, if it's been there for about an hour, it's still not reached our stop loss, but it's there quivering around, dancing around, that it's okay. Because if you removed that long position or short position, all you're looking at is a chart that's going up and down in different directions. It's only when you place that long position or short position that we start to have an emotional connection and attachment to that situation. So really remember that that space that you've created with your risk, that is there just to give room for the trade to fluctuate. So number 3, the SL is not scary at all, okay? Do not be frightened by it. Do not be scared. Do not be worried. Do not look at it like you want to go at it, okay? It's not scary. It is there only to support you. It's not trying to deliberately hurt you whatsoever. The market is not here in rage to get at you. So try to avoid not having that relationship that the SL is actually a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. And if we look at an SL and fear, if we're going to start looking at it in a fearful way, what do you think is going to happen to us? We're going to start becoming more angry at the market if it goes into that stop loss. We're going to have more self-doubt, more self-worry, even possibly look for other people to blame. So blaming that market, blaming that execution. You're going to start feeling a little bit more not as confident as you were, and it will lead you down a path that you don't want, because as a long-term trader, we are accepting that things might not go the way we want them to, but in the longevity and the majority of time that it is going the right way. So please do not fear the stop loss. The fear is just an emotional, psychological pattern that we engage with at a time where we feel like our expectations have not been met. And if we take that expectation out and place it with an acceptance, then we have a better relationship with the trade and with the process. So let's look at 3 things of what not to do with your SL, which is very, very important. I know that we've spoken about it loads of times now in the chat, but trying to look at it from the perspective from you mastering and being the CEO of your trading journey is exceptional. It's extremely important. Now, one of those things is do not alter or move or increase your SL just because you're worried it's about to hit that stop loss and that you don't want it to go into a loss. As we already know, if we do that, we have the potential for it to go into a further loss. And if you keep increasing it and increasing it, the only chances here is that you will have an even more negative balance and could potentially blow your account, which we do not want to do, okay? So really, really think about that. The more confident that you get in your trading, like I said before, you might stop looking at your charts as often. And if you don't have that stop loss in place and you forget about it, 3-4 hours later, you go, oh my God, I've got a trade and I don't have my stop loss. You do not know what is going to happen, and you really do not want to be in that position. Okay, so the other thing is, try to avoid increasing your lot size just because you want a quicker reward and a quicker profit. Quicker reward, quicker profit. If we think about how our lot size can be increased because we are very likely thinking that our trade is going to go in the right direction, what happens when that trade doesn't? What happens if somewhere in the world the news kicks in and it causes our trade to go to the opposite way? The quicker that you wanted that profit will be the quicker that you get into a loss. And a lot of times when people increase their lot size, they're not thinking about how quickly the loss can be at the same time. They're thinking only about the reward because they expected the trade to go in a certain direction. They expected for it to go in the way that the analysis was placed. Now, if you find the true essence of accepting your long position and your short position, and also accepting that that trade, we don't know what's going to happen to it, you'll have a better relationship with when it goes into a loss. But to avoid this emotional turbulence, please do not raise your your lot size just because it looks like that trade is 100% guaranteed. And you know what? If it is guaranteed and it goes in the amazing way and it potentially hits a TP, don't feel bad about your lot size of how much it was. Be grateful, congratulate yourself, and really, really give yourself the benefit of the doubt that you've decided to do things in a healthy manner, because long-term perspective, this will only make you win more over time. All right, so do not increase your lot size. I'm telling you, when it goes into that loss, it's just going to be as quickly as that reward. And if it goes into a further loss, doesn't even fluctuate into a profit, you know where you're going to be at emotionally, and it's not a good thing, okay? So super accept the ratio between your risk to reward. Allow it to make sure that it's a healthy balance there for you. The last thing that I wanted to say, which I think this is really down to the individual. Try not to have a risk to reward ratio where your risk is higher than your TP. So you really want to know kind of when you're placing a trade for its long position or short position, you really want to know at what point are you satisfied to get out of that trade when it's in a TP, when it's in a profit, or when you'll be satisfied to get out of a trade if you want to come out in an early loss. So, for example, your TP may be £100, but a quarter down the line, it may give you £15. Now, it's important to find an acceptance and be satisfied with a profit at either a quarter margin, half a margin, 3/4, or a TP. Because then if you place that every single trade, you will always be guaranteed profit, and also avoid that potential that if you decided, actually, I'm going to wait for the half margin to get a little bit more profit, that you don't get that unexpected, unfortunate situation, which that profit goes into a loss and it doesn't even go back into that quarter margin. So really analysing at what point will you be satisfied to take your profits, whether it's quarter or a third, however you want to see it, and have that as well for your stop loss, because you might not want to wait till stop loss. You might think that actually it's at a specific entry or price, and you're happy that it's not going the direction of your analysis and you want to come out so you don't lose any more. And if you have a risk that's higher than your TP, you're going to potentially want to wait for that extra long time and lose a lot more. So really think about that ratio, that risk to reward, and that it's at a healthy stage, because for every single one of us, it's going to be very different how we look and how our opinions are with that trade itself. All right. So lastly, for those who are not aware of, we have an alert system on our TradingView. So having alerts will also benefit you a lot more, especially when it comes down to your stop loss. For example, let's say that you decide that that trade is not going in your favor and you don't really have time to watch it. What you could do is place an alert at a particular point of price, and you could title it, which you can change the text on it. Title it as "in a loss, wait for next alert." And the second one could be "still in a loss, get out of trade." Because this could, if you don't have time to watch your trades, or you want to be more manageable and not really lose that SL that you've placed because you feel like, okay, this trade is really not going in the way that I expected, so I might as well just come out. You can place those alerts to let you know that it's gone that direction and that when it hits that price that you come out. Like I said, if you're busy and you're unable to have a look at that trade through the charts, that you can use those alerts to just let you know, and that will take a lot of pressure off you watching the trade second by second. It's very, very easy to watch the chart, especially when it's in a loss, and watching it from the 1 minute perspective or a 15-minute, because at that moment, if it's going in a loss still, you have more of a likelihood that you will make an erratic decision and come out at that loss. But then if you look at the bigger picture of that chart or of that trade, when it comes to an hour or a 4-hour chart, you can see actually it was still going in the direction of your analysis. But because you were glued to the screen, you got worried and your emotions kind of overtook you and made you come out in that loss too early. Now with alerts, you are placing alerts there to allow acceptance again, to say, okay, at this point, I'm okay with it still going through to the next alert or to the SL, but I can see that it's not going in my favor. And that next alert or that SL would be where you've accepted that stop loss, or that you've accepted that second alert to say, I'm actually going to come out in a smaller loss. So really important to use those alerts there, and it will help you again build that relationship with your stop loss. Remember, stop loss meaning it's stopping your loss from getting any further, okay? Build a healthy relationship with it. Look at it, spend time visually looking at trades, demo trading, or even just placing long positions and short positions at different angles, because then you can start building that relationship visually and it potentially giving you a better outcome when you trade as a successful trader. So I hope this information helps you, and over the week we will discuss a little bit more about how this could be something to potentially increase your likelihood of profits and manage your stability and emotions. Anyway, have a good day and we will speak soon. Goodbye.